I am once more being fucking humbled by this process. um, I'm in a funny little cul-de-sac, is what we've been calling them, like a little sort of, as things integrate and process, there will be these weird little pockets. You kind of just get stuck looping in there. And it's nice because I can tell that it's happening. So it doesn't feel like, oh, like something's wrong, or like I'm doing something wrong, or I need to do something like that. A lot of that sort of personalizing of what's happening is absent, which is nice. But it's also, it is at the same time like a deeply personal thing that is like loop that's happening, which is sort of the realization that I have very little connection to the sort of baseline, no emotion, no narrative, no thought attached, body yes and body no. And the recognition of that sort of came through the, like, by way of like discovering the pain in my body that has led to, like just a lifetime of not even ignoring, because I wasn't even aware of the presence of a body yes or a body no. And that's like it feels like a spot on the spiral that I'm coming back around to, because way back, like years pre-shift kind of thing, I had a similar feeling of like shocked and disturbed discovery, that I had no awareness of how my emotions were experienced in my body. My therapist asked something like, I think I said I was frustrated, and they said, well, where do you feel that? And I was like, well, I really feel it in terms of like the relationship between, and like the dynamics between me. And they were like, no, where do you feel it? Like in your body. And I was like, what do you mean? I really didn't know. I really had no idea what they meant. It was, disorienting to kind of realize that, like, that was even a thing. Like, that like, kind of like putting together the pieces of like, oh, feelings, right? Feelings are things that you feel in your body. And I, like, my therapist asked, like, do you think that you really feel your feelings? And I said, I mean, I'm thinking and talking about my feelings all the time. I'm really trying to like figure it out, basically. And they were like, well, yeah, but are you feeling them in your body? Like, are you feeling the physiological sensations of the emotions? And I said, with like anxiety. That was the only one that I could really reliably identify, and part of the reason for that was because I had learned to reliably identify it so that I could short circuit it. I had learned that like accelerated heart rate, rapid shallow breathing, tingling in my fingertips and my nose, and like tunnel vision were signs that I was approaching an anxiety attack. And we can't have that. Like, that was to be avoided at all costs, because it was time consuming and incredibly physically uncomfortable to experience, and looked crazy. So I learned how to identify those signals specifically so that I could stop them from happening, so that I could learn how to recognize that my breathing was accelerated and re-regulate it. And this is actually why at the start of some of this, breathing meditations or breath-based meditations would actually be tough for me, because I could feel that what was happening was that the focus on the breath was being used as a way to bypass emotion. And I didn't quite make the connection, but eventually I figured out, like, oh, right, well, that's because I've learned how to use breathing to bypass panic. So I've gone through this process before of realizing that I don't have any connection to something that really should be there, and I would have thought would have been there. Like there was a belief that like already existed. And so that feels like I'm coming back around to that now, but with just the recognition that, like, I don't really know how to listen to my body. And I never learned that. Like, that's another, it's a weird sort of grief overlay. Because, like, think about how young you have to start conditioning a person out of that. For it to be, like, not just ignorable, but, like, not even recognizable that it's happening. And then how much energy has been just expended continuously through my whole life to keep that hidden. There's grief in that, and there's like a film of shame to it as well. And it's really just putting a finer point on something I already knew, which is that self-abandonment is a sort of safety valve that I developed very early to protect myself from what were, at the time, actual threats. There really was the threat of sort of emotional abandonment or isolation. And implicitly, like, this was not done to me by someone. Like, this was like a substrate we were all swimming in, that I was kind of born into. It's not, it's not like something that anyone was doing. But how heartbreaking. Because, like, I know my mom and like most of the women, but probably men also on that side of the family, don't have any concept of this. Don't really have any connection. Like, I can't I don't pay attention to, like, basic body signals, like having to pee or being hungry. Like, I don't pay attention to those. I override those to the point of, like, causing other physiological symptoms that then alert me to it. Like, I will not eat because it just won't even occur to me, even though I'm obviously feeling the physical signs of hunger. Like, and I won't realize it until I notice that I'm dizzy or nauseous. Those are usually the big two. Or until I get a headache. Like, that is how thoroughly I've been conditioned to ignore my body's signals. And I think I always heard the expression, like, listen to your body, or like, you know, like, what is your body telling you? Like, I think I had a really hard time even imagining what that might mean. Never mind, like, doing it, paying attention to it. Yeah, and it has to do also with like the one that the loop that I'm stuck in right now, this weird little cul-de-sac. The flavor of it for me also, like, is that it has to do with there's a part of it about being perceived, and I don't know. It's not about being perceived in a way that's like, don't look at me. And more of like I'm imagining someone perceiving me as having an experience of me that they are then projecting onto me, and I don't like that as I do it. Like, it's such a weird feedback loop. But it brings with it like a pretty intense wave of shame and fear. And it's auditorily received, like the signal comes through the sound field. And I don't notice it until the physiological reaction starts. And then once the physiological reaction starts, I turn my attention to the sound field and recognize that there's something that has triggered it. But it's so fast that I don't see it. I'm not seeing it. And that's because I have been trained not to see it. It's a lot of conditioning to undo in the physical body. It's a lot of neural pathways to rewire, connection points to sort of rearrange. Because I'm finding the ways that it redirects in the body too. Like, I'm finding kind of one by one, like, oh, anger starts in my stomach, and then it's shut down by fear, which dissolves it and puts it in the back of my right shoulder. What's up with that? Oh, like, shame is like a just below, like, solar plexus, like, burning that then, like, goes up into the base of my skull. Like, I can feel where it starts, and I can feel where it's getting repressed to. And I don't know what to make of it. And I don't think that I have to make anything of it. I think I just have to be in it, and it is gonna do what it's gonna do. And I'm just gonna keep looking. But it is a very, another thing I'm trying to like allow in this is that like it sucks and I don't like it. I don't have to make myself like it. Which does feel like the immediate impulse. It's like, we'll figure out a way to be okay with it. Figure out a way to have it be like enjoyable. Because people will say that you can enjoy that, and like I know that that's true. I've had that experience, but it's not here right now, and it's okay that it's not. It doesn't have to be. But it's still poking a button that it has to be, because that's part of the conditioning loop here. So yeah, just some thoughts on what's coming up and where it's pointing.